Hello and welcome back. We're back in the 1975 catalogue, getting inspiration from these pictures across the bottom of the pages. So I hope you enjoyed that bit of footage. I don't have quite as many LNER Teak coaches as they have on the bottom of this page here, but it's quite an impressive picture, isn't it? And my Flying Scotsman, I think, is from either the very late 60s or early 70s, but we'll have a look over that in a moment. Let's have a quick glance through the catalogue. So I know a couple of people have mentioned they'd like to have a look through this. So the 75 catalogue, quite an impressive set of illustrations on the front there, and we've got that lovely sort of early mid-70s logo there. So that's just, there's a price there as well, look at that. So 25p probably. I don't know whether that was the original price or whether that was just, this has just been sold second hand. And there we go, we've got that terrific Flying Scotsman locomotive. So I think these came along late 60s, and they made these in the basic body moulding that Tryon came up with, and right through until the late 70s. So this one's got plated wheels. I know we've seen one of mine, which has got some bits missing, but I've put LED glowing firebox in it, and I think one of them's got chuff chuff sound as well. So quite a bright, cheery picture, that, isn't it? The golden age of railway, very, very bright colours. So let's have a look, see what else we've got. I've got some sort of information here. Magnet adhesion, curved points come along with the System 6, exhaust steam sound, various power control. I had these type of controllers on the System 6 for a while. Hand lining, and we've got some automated signal equipment there. Clip fit, and we've got the automatic uncoupling, and 3 radiuses of track. We've got sort of metal tyres on the wheels, or plated wheels they're calling them, and illuminated head codes. And we've got some track plans, the track plan book. I think there's some layouts in the back of here. Battery controller there. Take away and play sets. That's, could be quite good fun, wouldn't that one? That definitely looks to be a bit on the clockwork side there, doesn't it? And the tunnels, you used to get the cardboard tunnel and the openings, and the cardboard folded in the packaging. So let's just open this up. We'll whiz through this. There's quite a lot of it. There's a GWR pannier tank. We had that on the railway a little while ago. I think we had one of those out recently. Flying Scotsman making yet another appearance there. There, look at that. That set's got a signal, a GWR freight set. I think that comes with a signal. Look at all that kit there. So you've got the catalogue in the centre there. We've got a battery controller, tunnel, siding, goods shed. So rather lovely stuff. And we've got quite a lot going on this railway, haven't we? And again, those really wonderful looking banks of controllers. They do look quite impressive. The start of something big. Automated signal there to make the train stop and go depending on which way the signal's turned. And we've got the operating mail car in a slightly different design by the time we get to this period. I think that's just a reuse of the old transcontinental coach, which came up very, very early on. Gravity unloading bridge, huge amount of play value in here. Somebody pointed out to me last time we showed this that these minerals here just stuck onto a sheet of sellotape. I don't know whether we can see that or whether that was in a different catalogue. But quite an interesting way of doing it, pre-Photoshop and so on, I suppose. Yeah, we've got that great set of controls, and we've got the lever frames here. Well, that yellow one doesn't look very yellow, does it? So you've got the black one for points. So controlling colour light signals with that. The yellow one, and on-off switch there. And then we've got a point control set complete with the wiring and the point motor. Be very exciting buying one of those and fitting up your first set of points. So these would be quite sort of impressive pictures if you're just starting out in the railway and seeing these items. We have famous railway companies, the LMS, the GWR, It is quite a thick catalogue, this. They've packed plenty of information into it. LNER, so that's what we're looking at today, the Flying Scotsman in that wonderful apple green livery, Southern Railways. Here we've got the Silver Seal, so we had that one out just a week or so ago. I'm thinking we should probably get the 9F out at some point soon. And we've got a gorgeous cutaway image there. The pannier tank used as a cutaway. Brushes. We've got the Britannia mixed traffic locomotive there, named Oliver Cromwell. We had that recently as well. We had a Black 5 out recently. Perhaps time for another Black 5. Or maybe the red one. They made a version in red, didn't they? So from the is it early 80s, late 70s, early 80s? Dock shunter. I've got a body to change over on an early dock shunter. Ginty, IVAT. We were talking about getting the IVAT out a week or so ago when I was getting mixed up about which engine to use. Ended up with the apple green B12. Right, there we go. I've got another 040 there, the one with the bright dome on it. This locomotive makes a lot of appearances in this catalogue, doesn't it? Flying Scotsman. What have we got? That's still, is that called Albert Hall? Yeah, still named Albert Hall there. Looks very shiny at this stage. They went a bit waxy and matte. You've got wheel arrangements. A fine set of coaches. So we've got that another terrific image across the base of the page there. I don't think I have enough of those wagons to make that particular one up. I should probably stop going down this route because it's getting into trouble and starting to collect things we haven't got just to make up pictures that are on the bottom of the page. So let's have a look at that one. That's quite a lovely picture, isn't it? We've got the engine shed with the green ventilators on the top. So I'm holding the edge of this catalogue out of shot and it's just catching on something on the edge of the shot if you're wondering what the sound is there. So there we go. We got the Teak coaches. I think these came along in 1970. I think they made them up until 77-ish. The ones that we've got on the railway today are unboxed ones I've got. They've got the plastic wheels with the white rims on it. They seem to run quite nicely, relatively quiet, and a fairly good matched colour. So there's a golden arrow up there as well. I think this is a lovely picture. It's really stacked up, that, isn't it? It's really quite a long lens to get that effect. Car transporters, we just had them out on the railway, haven't we? I'll put those away. A fine set of wagons. The Cadbury's one, I'm not sure I've got the Cadbury's wagon. I've got a number of those that shape. I think the Cadbury's one is one missing from that period. There's always holes to fill in the collection. I have noticed when I was looking through the boxes, I have a number of these. It'd be nice to get a long train of those. I do have quite a number of those as well. Another terrific studio shot there. See if we can retain focus on that. Again, it's near impossible for me to see whether this is in focus. Looking at the screens on the back of the cameras are so terribly small. The bird's eye van, I've got a number of those as well. I think that, yeah, I'm just looking over to my right there. We've still got that sitting on the railway, but we haven't got this big crane. I think that'd be a disaster on certainly on the small radius Series 3. I don't think that's going to really work very well at all. And I'm using one of those quite frequently at the moment for track cleaning purposes. So it works on the 3-rail as well. Bit of extra weight, drag that around. Various station options. So some of the photographs are a little bit pale in this, aren't they? They're very sort of, what are they, beige background. I suspect it may have been white and then it's just going to underlit, goes beige. There's that Class 47 with the silver vents sitting there. Those lovely canopies. Far too much to look at really, isn't there? And then there's these bridges we had. I think I had the bright red variant of that on the System 6 railway, which we took down a couple of years ago or so now. Turntable, that's the other variant of the turntable in grey. And I make that initially for the Super 4, and then had adapter tracks, so you could use it with the System 6. Personally, I think the one I've got on the railway at the moment, there's that GWR pannier tank again. I think the one I have on the railway at the moment is my favourite out of the lot. Let's have a look there. Various signalling options. I did get a bag of signals out. I still haven't stood them on the railway. And that picture there looks like it should have been cropped in a bit tighter, doesn't it, with the track running off the edge of shot maybe. Would have been a slightly neater. I should stop critiquing the photography. Well, maybe it is. Maybe that was a beige background they shot these on, these little kits. That's a lovely picture, isn't it? Who got those factories? Ooh, those green bolster wagons. I've got one of those on the railway at the moment with the crane, haven't I? And then the elusive lifting bridge. Would be nice to try and find one of those at some point, but I think they've got a bit of a rarity. Here we've got the track geometry. I do like this, showing all the geometry there. I think that's a lovely bit. That image appears in a number of catalogues in the 70s. And then we've got the System 6. Would that be the Flying Scotsman sitting here again? Another very long lens picture, so it's only short on focus. We're getting to the end of the book here, and we'll have a quick look over the models, and then we'll get a bit of running. I dare say we'll get it to charge around. It's that type of locomotive which requires a little bit more power to make you smile. That's my excuse anyway. We've got the underlay. I think that layout there is very similar to how my Super 4 railway started. I started with System 6 and adapted it. I had that sort of bridge and the flyover. What have we got here? We've got a building. We've got the layout under construction there. Boxes of things waiting to go in. Tools. So there's quite information about baseboards, preparation for building and laying the track, and various different ways of, concealing or making a layout so you can hide it behind things when you're not using it. So they do take up a huge amount of space, railways, don't they? Even just a circle of track takes up such a massive amount of space. So anyway, we're down to the back page. Let's have a look there. And we've got that excellent illustrations on the back there. So we'll pop that to one side. Thought it was probably worth just looking through that, and we'll just see if we can pick out a Flying Scotsman on here. Let's see, steam locomotives. And we have got Flying Scotsman R.855. And it's a whole £9.50. And then the coaches. So here we have LNER coach, that's corridor third, R745, that's £1.70. These prices seem comical when you talk about them, but at the time these would have been quite reassuring. And there's R746 LNER brake third, also £1.70. This price list is dated 25th January 1975, so we'll pop that to one side. We'll just have a swift look over the coaches. We'll start with the brake. So see if we can jump that back into focus. These ones I don't think they've seen a great deal of action. I think this roof has been used on a number of different models, very often in grey. There we go. We've got those wheels, sort of all plastic axles, all moulded into one piece. They do run reasonably quietly, and they haven't seemed to cause too many problems on this railway. So no seating in these. I think it was thought at the time it might not be cost effective to make a seating unit for these. I don't know why. I think they sold thousands and thousands of these. So this one was R746. I'll just pop the info at the bottom there. I think the variation in the colours of the batches of the plastic used for this can be quite wild, I think is the word we're looking for. I know some of the ones I've got are very, very pale, and some of them are very, very almost reddy brown. See the difference in the colour there. So initially, when I hadn't looked at these under this camera, I was thinking they were quite a good colour match, those, but they're actually not very good at all. So here we've got 745. So what's called the full third, I think. So again, we've got the same roof. The printing's relatively neat on there. I think they came up with a method of making this plastic to look like wood effect. They came up with a sort of fizzing effect in the plastic to generate it, so it's fairly random. And the bases of these coaches, these are used on lots and lots of different coaches over the years, from the early 60s on. We do, and originally I think we had sleeved wheels, and then we had pinpoints, and then we got pinpoints in plastic, all plastic, and then we had silver seals as well. So we'll pop those to one side. I'll have a look at the Flying Scotsman. Now, this is a very worn model. It's seen a lot of action, so we've got no info on that panel there. So it's definitely had something spilt on it. It's been opened and closed many, many times. And there we go. We've got the info on the end of the box there. R.855 LNER 462 locomotive Flying Scotsman. So let's just slide this out. So originally this would have probably had cellophane on it, or certainly this would have had cellophane, and you reveal that for display in the shop. Sadly, no instructions with this particular one. So it's done many, many miles around the track, this, and the play in the wheels is quite something. And I have done a little bit of remedial work on it in the past. But I'll leave a little bit of footage of it on the rolling road just to finish off with when we're right at the end of the video, I think. So let's just pinch these things out of the box here, and we'll have a quick look over. So I don't want to handle too much. And I think that I was talking about the earlier B12 than the one I showed a couple of weeks ago. I had the centre wheel painted in green like that. I think that was quite smart like that. Nothing like a real railway engine, but it's just as a modeler, as a toy train. I think that's it looks quite impressive to me. So I suppose a fireman could have been inserted in there. But there's the glowing firebox. If you have a look at the insert picture there, we'll get a bit of that run up on the rolling road so we can see that glow nicely. So the one I made up with the LEDs, it comes into action just a little bit quicker than that. This one needs you need to dial in a fair amount of power. So it's definitely done its job. It's been played with and enjoyed. It hasn't been over-handled because the bodywork is quite nice. It's not quite matte, and it's not quite glossy. So it's got a sort of a sheen on it. And those lovely plastic wheels there with the centres all painted up in green. It's all fairly tidy plastic drive gear. So I think later models gained the plated wheels and a plating around there to make it look a little bit more realistic, I suppose. So we'll just grab the tender. Actually, we'll pop that down now because we'll have a look at the back of the box in a moment. So no chuff chuff sound, and this is before chuff chuff sound was a thing. So I think this is a sort of 69 or 70 version coming in a box like this. So quite a nice bit of moulding. And that was the earlier BR variant of this, wasn't it? In the Brunswick green. It's quite a beautiful model. I'll have to play with that one another day, I think. So sometimes it doesn't like some of the points. You've got all of these wheels, although these ones move. As you can hear, they're very free. So I've not had too much issue with these since I've been playing with these and setting up the video. Let's just getting the words out. Spin this over and have a look here. So we've got the history of the Flying Scotsman on the back of the box. It's quite a nice touch. I think Hornby reverted to this in more recent times of including info on the box about the locomotive. We'll just dial in some power and get this underway. Let's see if we can follow it around a couple of times, see how it does. Make an impressive sort of model train noise. So that's sort of possibly nearly halfway. Let's pop the controls down and see if we can follow that. So we'll just get up above it here. Through the tunnel. Now today's the 8th of December. I suspect when this video comes out it will be very close to Christmas. So the Christmas market was supposed to be on in North Shields this weekend, 7th and 8th. And the Blythe and Tyne Model Railway Society were having an open day. And I did go along. And let me just stop the train in the background because I'm talking over this and it's very, very noisy. Let's just grab this. Let's give this a little bit more power. We'll charge that down there. There we go. We'll stop that there for a second. That was quite impressive. I think we might have another go at that. Definitely makes you smile. So yeah, it's 7th and 8th of December, and today is the 8th. So yesterday and today we've had a terrible storm, and the wind and the rain has been horrendous. So I went along on late Saturday morning when I had the chance to get along. By the time I got there, I was absolutely soaked. So not only was my raincoat letting in rain, but my legs were wet, my shoes were full of water, I had a hat on dripping with rain. And I went through the doors and upstairs, and straight away the club stand sort of bring them by. And I found these items there, which I was quite pleased with. And I even said to the man who was manning it, I said, I wish I wasn't standing in a wet raincoat. Very, very uncomfortable. Not a pleasant experience. So I found these, which I was really pleased with. But I tried to have a look around the rest of the railway exhibition, and it was just too uncomfortable. I didn't take any video. I just gave up for the day and went home. So it's just been an awful weekend. The market was cancelled in the local town because of the weather. It was too unsafe. Winds up in the 60s here. Really not a great time. So, but these things were brilliant. So what we've got here is a well wagon with a tank load. I think it's a Conqueror tank. That's a R241, 1960 to 63. Now, it was sold to me as slightly broken. We'll have a look at that in a moment, but it doesn't really affect it for me. And then we've got R213 well wagon with crane, and that was there 1957 to 61. They've got the appropriate boxes. There's packing rings in the boxes, can we hear them? Yeah, you've got packing rings rolling around inside there. So we've got R213 there, bogie well wagon with crane load. So I'm reading that and not realising that I've got no focus on it. So the boxes are really nice. Got thick sellotape on them, and then there's possibly a price scribbled in pencil there as well. So always nice to have the boxes. But ideally, I'll get the time next time they have an open day, and hopefully, I think it's spring we have another open day there, and we'll see if we can get a little bit of video that time. So R241. Bogie well wagon with tank load. So again, appropriate box. So nice thick pieces of sellotape. So yeah, but we'll run these another day. Let's pop those out of the way. Got my notes down here as well, and we'll just have a quick look at them. So the tank solder's slightly broken, so it's missing a wheel. So I'm not entirely sure this is the correct push and go mechanism for it, because it should have a facility for a flint. The little brass retainer for the flint is missing, and then the dummy wheel there. But to all intents and purposes, looking at it sitting on the wagon, it's absolutely beautiful condition. I do have another pair of these. I don't know whether I can lift off the turret there and have a look on the inside, and you can see. Let's just push the mechanism out because it's all loose rattling in the box, and I think it should have like a stone type wheel, abrasive wheel there to go on the words escape me now, flint, and there should be a little brass holder there for it, but that's sort of long gone. But we're not worried about that. I think that'll look quite impressive. with the other two. So these aren't really ready for running. So the wheels are all very, very stiff, congealed. So these are going to need a little bit of cleaning before we can run these. Again, they're just quite lovely items, and as multiples, I think the opportunity to have multiples on them wasn't to be walked away from. We'll just put that push and go motor down there, and the crane has also got one of those motors in, sort of mechanisms. It's not a motor, is it? It's a friction thing. It's very hesitant. It could probably do with some oil on it. There we go, you can hear that. Can we hear that? Let's just have a look at that again. Let's get focus in there. You can see I think they actually the rubber tyre spinning on the axle there. So I don't want to overuse this. I'm never going to push this along the carpet and let it go. And the jib isn't too bent. I think the hook on the end of the crane there is a little bit rusty. And the little controlling lever there, you can see that's just hooked on the back of the cab. If I lift that up, we can let that go down. Rather lovely, isn't it? So, and again, the well wagon is in exactly the same condition as the brown one, in need of a good clean. Wheels need to come out of that, axles cleaned and so on. And we'll get that up and running. That'll live another day. That'll go in the long list of things to sort of give a clean and brush up. And so, yeah, I think they're lovely things. So the storm is sort of beginning to blow itself out. And it's forecast to be in the 40s for the next hour or so at the moment. Let's give this a bit more power now. So we'll just get that to run around. So I think many people would have wanted one of these for Christmas, and a handful of coaches. I know there were a handful of sets which featured these models. And I think if you see on the rolling road, when you see this thing running, you see the wheels are not the truest. It's definitely had a bit of action. I think somebody's had the wheels off it at some point, because you can see marks where somebody has tried to redo the quartering, but it runs fairly well. I think we'll just go for a little bit more power. Let's see if we can follow this comically around now. Not doing too bad. That's going to disappear behind the station and so on. See if I can stay low enough to get that under there. But I think that's probably it for this time. I hope you all have a great Christmas. Thank you again for looking in over the past year. It's hugely appreciated. If you look back again next time, we'll try and have something else interesting to look at. Goodbye now.